Hiya, it's Kerry from Mobilates, and I'm with you for 30 minutes. Gentle, comfortable exercise, extra comfortable today. We're using a cushion, although it's not just for sort of lying down and putting our head on. We're going to use an extra cushion. So you may want to grab a cushion that you're happy to stand on and a cushion that could go under your head. Have those two ready. We're not going to use this just yet, so I'm going to pop it back here ready to grab. You can do a standing version with me. You can do a seated version with me. We're going to do lying down, and you can do that on your bed. You can also sit on the edge of your bed. Just pull the duvet back so you're on top of the mattress. But you can also do a seated option throughout, because I keep going through different ways to do things. Sometimes it might take me a few moments to get from floor to chair or whatever we're doing, but I'll get there, and I'll try and give you all the different ways to move in as comfortable way as possible for you, because that's what it's all about, you know, moving. And if you've got restriction, working with the restriction, not fighting it, going gently and doing anything we can to make your movement just more comfortable. So let's get warmed up. We're going to start with our feet. So I'm just coming back, so you just see my feet underneath the little trailer bar at the bottom of the screen. We're going to lift our toes up and down. I think you can just see my toe. Oh, there they go. The trailer bar has gone off. There, you can just see them going up and down. Now, if this makes you a bit wobbly, because it does affect your balance, it may be you need to hold on to something. You might be using your chair or a stick, or if I was closer to this chest of drawers, I might just put my fingers here like that. And if you're seated, you're just sitting the same with your toes going up and down. And could you give your feet also a wipe? It's like you've just come in from outside and you're cleaning your feet, your shoes before you take them off. So give them a wipe. We're trying to create a bit of friction, a bit of warmth. And then turning to the very side edge of your foot, giving that a little rub. And then the other side. You might try and do the inside. It's harder to do, but if you can get there, definitely easier sitting down doing this than standing up. But just to bring a little bit more warmth to your feet, and it's something we'll keep doing. And I recommend, if you're seated for a long time and then you stand up, do this first. It just gives you more sensation in your feet. Right, now we've got our feet. We're having them a bit wider today to start. Toes pointing forwards. I can see there's some regulars here. Oh, hello. Hello, Jean. Hello, Jackie. Hello, Christine. And hello, Irene. Lovely to have you here. Hope you're all doing okay. So we've got our legs a bit wider, seated or standing. And now we can lift those toes again, but we're going to start to rock forwards and backwards. So if you're on the chair, it's a bit like you're on a rocking chair and your feet are the rockers. If you're standing, you haven't got that seated option, but your feet are still the rockers. So it's like you're on a standing rocker. You can see my arms have gone out to the side because it just helps with the balance. And I'm trying to keep my arms quite soft, not rigid and straight, and bringing lots of tension up here. I don't want that. So just giving my fingers a little wiggle. They're often a bit chilly at the moment. That's it. Just warming our balance up. One more. And then shake your legs out. We'll soften our knees if we're standing. Keep your feet facing forwards. Soften your knees. And then we'll have a hand on the belly and a hand on the back. And before you do anything else, feel the shape. So I can feel my back dips in. It's got a slight inward curve here. And my belly, it's got quite a curve on it. I just have quite a small belly, but it's got a curve. It's not a flat belly. So I can feel that shape. Now we're going to breathe in. It's like you're breathing in and making your waist wider. And as you breathe out, I want you to pull your belly back towards you using your belly muscles. Like you're trying to squeeze the air out a little bit. As you breathe in, your belly softens and it comes forwards. Breathing out, breathing in. Breathing out, breathing in. And one more. Lovely. And then just have a little wiggle. And grow tall. So you're growing tall seated, growing tall standing. Right, now we're going to give the back of our head a little tap, just to create a bit of sensation. If you like, you can rub your nose slightly, and maybe even your throat, back of your neck, front of your throat. Take all those sensations back a little. Lovely. Right, turn your head as easily as you can. It's gliding, and it's gliding as far as your neck comfortably goes without forcing anything. Now, come to the front and place a gentle fist, like your fingers, in your chin. And you're going to turn, but not so far. There's a bit of drag and resistance from your fingers now. You've still got that feeling of having a long neck, pulling backwards a little. But you're sort of grazing past your knuckles and your fingers. Back to the centre. Now keeping your knuckles there and coming in a bit closer. We're going to nod the nose down and up. You're just trying to create a little bit of resistance on your chin. Oh, who else is that as well? Lisa. Hi, Lisa. That's it. And now something soft for your neck. So you might think, oh, I just want to stroke my neck and give it a gentle strokey massage. You might think, this is my go-to, just drawing circles. And I'm using my chin here to draw the circles and trying to create as much space as I can between my chin and my collarbones as I do this. Mine aren't full circles, they're sort of nearly full circles. And then come back to the center and just look ahead. Right, now for the shoulders, keep your arms close, little, either half circles, like an arc or a rainbow, or full circles, and it could be one, and then the other, or it might be both. That's it, take your time. Let's do it with our breath to really slow things down. So let's start at the beginning, breathing in, let them go forwards and up. And then breathing out around the back. A little pause, breathing in, breathing out. And don't worry if you're not in time with me, we don't need to be in time. Follow your breath, breathing in as they go up, out as they go around the back, and then just wait a moment after that out breath. And one more. Oh, that felt good. Right, let's go for some elbow circles. So take your elbows just outwards away from you a little bit. And now start to stir with one, a bit like you're trying to just scrape around the edges of a bowl, a bit like when you've made a cake and you just want to either get all those bits scraped up and put into the cake tin, or perhaps you're having a little taste. And then the other side, going both directions. Now, the higher your elbow goes like this, the more comfortable your shoulder is. So if your things are very low down, maybe your shoulder's just not that comfortable. And if your circles are coming up here, it seems to be fine. We can go one side and then the other. I find my right side is not quite as comfortable as my left. That's it. And as we do this now, we're just getting a little bit of rotation at the waist. A gentle rotation is good. And then come back to the center, arms forwards and backwards. Loose like a swing. And you'll see the rest of my body's just moving a little bit. On the chair, go quite wide and just watch out for crashing into things. I tend to crash into my chest of drawers and my plant. That's why I'm not showing you that bit in the chair. Now, the next thing I'd like you to do is raise your arms higher and start to look upwards, like you're trying to look towards some sunshine, some light. And then if you're standing, you might send your bottom back and then come up. It's like you're going to sit down, or like a bit of a ski jump position. If you're doing this seated, one thing I like to do with this is take my legs much wider and then have my arms go down between my legs, really press my feet down to the floor. So straight back, not a bent or a flexed back. And one more. And then take the arms down. I'm going to stay seated for a moment. Bring your legs forward. So everyone's got their legs forwards. Feet are facing forwards. There's a bit of distance between your knees and ankles and parallel. Right. Now, just give your feet a little press on the floor. Give your sit bones a little wiggle side to side. And then we're going to come to a still position. Keep those where they are. Keep them still. Nothing else is going to move. We're going to take a hand and arm up in the air, like you're trying to attract a teacher's attention. Miss, 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 me, miss. And see how high you can go. Now, if your arm is not going up there, could you instead just put your hand to your chest and just imagine this is your arm up here. Me, miss, me, miss, me, miss. But this doesn't change. It doesn't go like this or like this. It just stays still. Your feet are pressing downwards. Lovely. Other side. So you might be like this. You might be like this. We're just going to get a little stretch here. Take it down. Next one's a little different. The same position. So you're either like this or your arm's up in the air. But if your arm is up in the air, could you take it over? Like you're trying to do a slow wave over. And then bring it down. Another one. So me, miss, and then over. Lovely. And give your shoulders a little wriggle. Right, next place we're going to go. We're going to bring the cushion in a minute. So just make sure you have that ready. But first, let's just do a little bit more rotation. So we did a bit at the beginning with the elbow circles. Now we're going to swish our arms around us. So this is the standing version. This is the seated version. Just getting a bit of that going. And then slow that down. Grab your cushion. If you're standing, we're going to stand one foot on the cushion, the other foot by the side. You might want to have something here to help you, or actually something on this side, because we're going to lean over to this side. So if I was needing something to help me, I would put my chair here like this and hold on to it. If you're seated, you're just seated as you normally are with a foot on a cushion. Right, you'll feel it's a bit uneven, and I want you to feel that unevenness. We're going to sway from one foot and to the other foot. As you go to this side, you'll feel this foot needs to come off the floor a little bit. My heel's coming off the floor because this foot is a little bit higher than the other foot. That's it. And if you're doing this seated, you're like leaning over to one side, leaning back on the other side. Keep this leg straight. Both legs are straight. If you're standing, if you're seated, both legs are bent. If you can get this foot hovering off the floor and just hold it there. If it makes you really wobbly, just keep part of your foot down just so you can keep everything straight here. Weight is going through this leg. I'm sure I don't need to tell you that. Take both feet off your cushion. So you might be stood with your legs like this, particularly, or you might be sat like that, and give everything a little wiggle. And then we're going to go the other way. So we're just going from side to side. If I show you the seated one for a moment here. So coming over this side, coming over this side, just letting my foot come up. You might be able to bring your foot up. Oh, there, I can almost straighten myself over this leg and just hover this foot up. And then take it down. And if I'm doing this standing, both legs are straight. And at the moment, my heel is coming up. If I show you a little bit from the side. And then I might be able to just concentrate on my balance. Going to find something to look at. Just lift that foot up. And just hold it there. And then come off. Give your hips a little wiggle. And then you can move that cushion out of the way. Next, we're going to do a roll down and take it down to the floor. So you might do a roll down with a curved spine. So if you're seated, you could do that with your legs wider. Have your hands just going between your legs here, like pressing against. rolling down, and then you might want to go just that far. Pause. Breathe into your back, like puffing up between your shoulders, and then as you breathe out, roll yourself up. You might go lower. Same thing, breathe into your back between your shoulder blades, and then roll yourself up. You might also not want to flex your back. If you've got osteoporosis or osteopenia, you might keep your back straight and not put that weight through it bent. And instead, you would go forwards, hands on your thighs, straight back. I'm gazing ahead, looking out the window a little bit. Now I'm going to pull my belly back and do a pelvic tilt under. And then walk my hands up my legs till I'm upright. And if I'm standing, send the hips back. Just like I'm just going to sit down on a high stool, hands on my legs. Now that little tilt, you can see my bum line sort of drops down, and I'm going to walk my hands up. So do one more of whatever sort you're doing. Who else has joined us here? Paul, you're back again. I'm really pleased, glad to have you here. Right, we're going to take it down to a lying down surface. So you might be moving onto your bed. You might move on to something on the floor, a mat, or you might have a nice warm blanket on the floor. That's a heated blanket, and sometimes I do it on a heated blanket. It's really nice and comfy. You could also stay sitting. So just get yourself wherever you want to be. I'm going to use my sofa rather than my chair, just so we don't have too many things to look at. But first, I'm going to start off on the floor. Please take your time. There's no rush. You might have a little drink on the way. It might just take a while to get yourself down to the floor, and I would much rather you did that safely. So take yourself downwards and just check once your head is down on the floor where your eyes are looking. So you want your eyes to look at the ceiling. If it feels like your eyes are looking behind you, if I can see this picture on my wall, if I could see that really easily, that would suggest I need something else under my head. And if I could only see through the window and not see the ceiling, too much under my head. So I'm just going to have the wiggles that I need to settle myself to being on the floor. And if you're seated, just take yourself right to the back of your chair so you've got that support behind you, or just shuffle a little further back if you're sitting on the edge of your bed. And then we've got our feet on the floor for everybody, hands on your belly. We're going to breathe in through our nose. It's not a deep breath, it's just a normal breath like you breathe as you're just sitting watching telly or reading, something like that. But as you breathe in, I want you to send that breath to your back so that you feel your back widen a little. If you're lying down, you'll feel it widen against whatever you're lying on. And your ribs out to the side as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, let your belly just tighten it just a little. Feel it under your hands. Breathe in again. Feel your back take up a little bit more space and widen, and breathe out. Just let your belly start to tighten under your hands. Going to do it again. And this time as you breathe out and that belly tightens, just start a little pelvic tilt. You don't press into your feet yet. You don't tighten your bum here. It's all soft. It's got a wobble. Just your tightening on your belly. That's what's powering it, and your back lowers down. As you breathe in, it comes back up. As you breathe out, it lowers down. Or if you're sitting, it's pushing towards the back of your chair. It's like your waistband pushing towards the back of it. And one more. Lovely. And then just ease off. We can start the legs swaying. Could you take your arms outwards? If you're sitting, hold on to the sides of your chair lightly. And if you're lying down, just arms out. They can be in a T, but I like mine just a bit lower. Now we've got our legs bent just where they are. I want you to let your legs sway from side to side, but nothing above the waist. So see that my hips move a little here, but I'm not doing that. We're just going into the hips a little here. Keep the same gap between your legs and your feet, so we're not letting that happen. And then shuffle just a small step further forward, same in the seat. So your legs are a little bit further away from you, same sway. That's it. And then let yourself shuffle a little further ahead in the same sway. If you were sitting, it can help to sit further closer to the edge of your seat here. And you see my legs are going straighter. They're not in that L shape anymore. And they can only move a small way. The further away they get from us, the less room there is in the hip. I'm going to take it even further. Now my legs are almost straight. I'm just rolling onto the sides of my feet. And then I just shuffle my feet back, and we're just doing the same in reverse. Until you're back where you started. So if you're sitting, you're back in your sort of L-shaped leg. And I'm now in that position. And if you're lying, it's the same with that little triangle leg with your feet on the floor. Now bring your arms down by your sides. We're going to slide one leg forwards, long foot. So it's not the foot up this time, it's just a long foot. And could you slide the opposite arm back? And then we'll bring them down by our sides, breath in. And as you breathe out, slide one leg away and the other arm back. You breathe in as they come back. The breath is just like the cherry on top. You don't have to do it that way as long as you're breathing. It's going to be a little bit of tension onto your belly. And if you're seated, you might even want to lie back a little. Just lean back a little rather than lie back. If you're lying down, got a very similar thing going on. That's it. You can even start to hover your legs off the floor. So as you extend your leg and your arm, nothing's touching the ground. Just when your foot comes back and your arm comes down by your sides, they return. And I'm just using that moment to get a longer stretch. Feels nice. One more each side. And then if you're lying down, I'd like you to roll onto your side if you're happy to. If you'd rather sit, you can go to a sitting position. I'll demonstrate the lying down sequence first, and then I'll take it to a seated position. Perhaps when, if you're lying down, you're having a little rest in between, between sides. So I'm lying on my side. The back of my head, my back, my bottom, and my feet are all in line, and I use often this back of this mat here, that back edge, to feel how far back things will go. What I often notice when I'm doing this in person is I'll see people's heads tend to be a little forwards like this. So I'm just taking everything back, and I'm supporting my head here on this cushion. Hand on your hip, push your hip down. And you can see as I do that, if you look at my waistband here, it just dips down. All my waist muscles really wake up. Now extend that leg, and then I'm going to bend it, but I'm just hovering it. There's a little gap between. I'm going to do that a few times. And then when you've done it maybe about 5 or 6 times, so not yet, then I'd like you to start to cycle your leg. And as you cycle, this leg presses down into the floor and keeps you still. So keep going with that. If you're sitting, I'd like you to extend your leg away, bring it back. Extend it away. It's not touching the floor this time. Bring it back. Extend that leg away until you've done about 6. And then you start to cycle. And for this, it really does help to lean back a little. You can let your foot brush the floor. If this feels too much, slide your leg towards you, slide it away. And you're sliding it towards you. Your leg is smaller than a 90-degree angle. It just comes in quite tight. So if it's too much to lift and get that cycle and you just can't lift your leg, slide it back. If you're lying down, you're probably on a break. Probably you had enough. That's it. And now just let the legs, and then give them a little rub. If you're seated, they might want a little in and out like that, or just a little rub. And then we're going to work the other side. So if you're sitting first, you're going to extend away, hovering off the floor, long foot, and then take it back. Now you can extend and take back and never put your foot on the floor, or extend, take back and have a rest, extend. Lying down. We've got gravity working in a different way because we're on our side. So we're offering that sort of extra dimension. So bottom leg bent, pressing downwards. This top leg, it bends and returns to the other leg, but with a little gap. Press away, come back, press away, come back, press away. We're going for 6. I think I've got 3 more. If you're seated, you're probably on your cycling now. If it gets too much any time, I think that's my last one there, you can stop. I'm going to go straight into my cycling. And you might want to do maybe 3 forwards and then 3 backwards. But what I'm definitely doing is pressing this leg downwards, all the way down to the ankle. From hip to ankle, I'm really pressing it downwards. I might go to forwards again. These are the last 3. And if you're seated, I think you'll have finished by now, having a well-earned rest. And now, if you're lying down, bend your legs. You might feel, I like to hug my leg in and sort of curve my back a little and just give everything a bit of a rub. Well done. Side lying's often really challenging for people, but important muscles to keep working and challenging. Right, now we're going to take ourselves to a sitting position. So everybody's going to be in sitting. And could you sit with wide legs? Now you could sit yourself up. I'm just getting 2 cushions to sit myself up on, because I know that raising hips just makes it a bit more comfortable. When I say put your legs wide, now you can put your legs wide and they're straight. You can put your legs wide and they're bent. I just want your back to be upright. So let's have wide legs, and then let's have a little play with our feet. So if you're like this, you could bring your feet up like this and just start to circle your feet round one at a time or both together. They look quite funny like that with big feet. And I'm going to do the same sitting, but I'm just trying to sit up. You could even be sat back against something if that's helpful. That's it. Just getting those ankles totally mobilized. Now, relax the feet. We're going to widen our arms a little and just slide over one way and turn our chest away. And then come back. And slide over the other way and turn our chest away. So you're using your thighs. Same if you're seated, wide legs, feet will be on the floor. But you're just sliding along your thighs and turning your chest away. And you might find you can go a little further. You might find that you need to stay really high up like that. So let's do one more this side. And come upright. And one more the other side. And come upright. Give your shoulders another circle. Let's give our shoulders a shrug. I feel like taking the arms behind us a little bit, so let's do that. I'm going to show you from the side what this looks like. So if you're on a chair, you'll need to shuffle forward so you can get your arms behind you. Now you might interlock your fingers and push away like that and just open the chest out a little, right across the collarbone. And you might even gaze upwards a tiny bit. If your fingers won't do the interlock, stack them on top of each other and just push the hands away, pressing your hands one into the other. And then you can repeat it, changing your hands over. Often feels nice when we've been sat doing something forwards like this. You're just reversing it. Bringing your shoulder blades closer together and opening out across your collarbone. One more. Whew, have a little wiggle. Take your palms out to the side, scoop up the air. Breathe in, bring your hands together and into your chest. Give yourselves a clap. Give your legs a little rub for that sideline sequence or that sitting and cycling. Worked it hard. Oh, well done, everybody. I'll see you again next week. Have a good week. Bye.